Joining us today is Whitney Ferre. And Whitney is really what I would call the definition of a serial entrepreneur. Not only has she started an art center, owns a restaurant and a DVD, but she also has a book out called The Artist Within, A Guide to Becoming Creatively Fit. And all of this is based on her experience of really tapping in to your inner artist, your right brain. And so I can't wait to talk to you today, Whitney, and hear about your projects, your businesses, and also just the philosophy behind what you practice and what you teach in your book.
Right. Well, what happened is when I was trying to come up with the idea, I knew I was supposed to have my own business, and I was exposed to the concept that people needed to get in touch with their artist mentality in order to create the life they wanted. And I'm reading this, and it had nothing to do with becoming an artist and hanging your work in a gallery. It had everything to do with taking responsibility for your ability to create the change that you wanted in your life. And so I'm reading this, and I loved it, and it really resonated with me, and I wondered, where do people go to develop this skill? Because it was nothing that was being taught in school, and I didn't know of any place outside in the real world that was really promoting this concept. So the first business I opened was the Creative Fitness Center. That really, in my mind, it was like a YMCA for your right brain to develop your creative muscles. And it was so exciting, and it's been an amazing journey. That was 14 years ago.
Wow. And I mean, so you would say you don't have to be an artist. In fact, on the contrary,
yes,
to get involved with this way of thinking and to tap into that. In fact, many people who aren't artists probably need it the most, correct? To tap into that.
Exactly. It's got nothing to do with being artsy, craftsy. It's about taking creativity to its most elemental level. And if you look at the span of human existence, it's just a very minute part of our timeline where we have not been intimately involved in the creation of every element in our environment. So before, 100, 200 years ago, if there was a problem, we had to solve it. We had to create the solution. We had to cut down the tree and dry it and hollow it out to make the chair, or raise the sheep to shear the wool, to weave the fabric, to clothe ourselves. And so now, with all of the modern conveniences, what we've done really is we've outsourced our creativity so that we don't really have to do anything. And what's happening is that our right brain muscle, so to speak, has become weak. And the result of that is feelings of apathy, or even depression, or I don't know how to make this work, or waiting for something to happen.
Paralysis, you would
say,
right?
Exactly. And hope is directly tied to your ability to believe that you can create change.
Well, Whitney, I just love your business, and that you really are about tapping into creativity. And as you know, Ladies Who Launch, one of our big core values is really, how do we get women to tap into their own creativity? And as you know, when you go through the Incubator Intensive Workshop, it's about really using the group to tap into each other's creativity and to create a vision that is bigger than you could really imagine for yourself. So I love that you joined Ladies Who Launch,
yes,
and that you have been able to not only leverage what we've created, but also bring your knowledge and expertise to the table. Tell me a little bit about your experience joining Ladies Who Launch, and then I also want to talk about your book and getting your book published.
Right. Well, I'm so glad you mentioned that about the incubator group, because that took me completely by surprise. When they started talking about homework, I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to be doing these business plans and spreadsheets and all this. And I was so thrilled when the homework was working on everybody else's project. And what I really got out of that is that it was such a unique experience to be sitting around a group of people who were sending all the energy to you and supporting you and creating vision and obviously like painting pictures that you didn't even imagine or maybe wouldn't even dare to. So it really expanded my concept of what it is that I wanted to do and how I could help women and people everywhere really tap into that creativity. So it was thrilling.
And obviously you've had multiple successful businesses, and so really when you joined Ladies Who Launch, it was about, how do I get this book off the ground, or what other things maybe should I be thinking about? You actually opened a wine bar almost as a marketing tool for your book. Usually it's the other way around. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, I read an article once that said that people that hold on loosely to their goals actually have a higher chance of success, and this was such a perfect example of that, because never in a million years had I expected to be a restaurateur or open a restaurant, and it wasn't until the moment that I realized that I had a lot of equity in the house that I'd opened the art center in that I could use to help my business partner open the wine bar, that it became a reality. And it was like that. And it was my intuition that really spoke to me that said, Whitney, this is crazy, but this is how the book is going to get published. And the book had been, you know, the one thing that I knew for sure for 10 years. And I knew it was supposed to happen, and I was willing to, you know, follow whatever path I needed to in order to make that happen.
Well, that is just incredible, and I think that that's a true example of tapping into your own creativity.
Yes.
To move something forward. Tell us about, and I think, you know, many women out there want to write a book, or they have a dream of writing a book. They
Yes.
have some kind of a message that they want to convey to the world. Tell us about your process with writing this book and getting it published, because you do have a publisher for your book, an outside publisher, correct?
Yes, I do. Well, the thing is that, one, you have to really believe and have so much conviction about your book. So, in other words, maybe you have an idea of what you want to write about, but you're trying to tailor it to the times, or maybe fit someone else's criteria. And I would say that you really need to stick to the message that you feel is so important to publish. And then you have to realize that it's probably not going to happen in the time frame that you would like it to. And what that does is, when things don't happen right away, it's not a sign that it's not going to happen. It's just you have to keep going. So I had...
And often maybe a test of how badly you really want to achieve the goal, right?
Exactly.
To keep that.
And along the way, your message gets fine-tuned. I mean, I tried to find the agent. I flew to New York on a whim to meet with an agent. I talked to different people. I was going to get it self-published. I had an investor who was willing to help me with that. I had a fabulous graphic designer put together a beautiful book proposal. Then I ended up finishing the book, and it was a contact from my first business, the art center, and then the wine bar, that ended up introducing me to my publisher. So,
well, that is great, and I think there's just so many variables like that that come together, and people that come out of the woodwork to help you when they feel the passion and the energy around an idea. You know, when somebody feels strongly about something, people will help you, and I think that's also obviously what Ladies Who Launch is all about. So I really appreciate you sharing your story with us. And did you want to add something else about the process? And
well, that's what I was just going to say about Ladies Who Launch. I really encourage people to reach out and ask for help and share your ideas, and really stay aware of what people have to bring to you. And Ladies Who Launch makes that so easy and accessible, and in such a supportive environment, that is really the key, I think, to launching successful ideas.
well, thank you. Your book is The Artist Within, a guide to becoming creatively fit.
Yes.
We're all going to go out and buy it.
Thank you.
So tell us about your DVD that you've produced.
Well, the DVD is my most popular class that I've taught once a month for the last 6 years. It's called Painting Made Easy. So again, what I'm trying to do is take the fear out of making art, take it off the pedestal, make it accessible to everyone, so that they can experience the therapeutic benefits of creating art, the way that it accesses the other side of your mind, your right brain that is closer to your subconscious, your intuition. It has ideas and input that are completely different from your left brain voice. So I teach art so that people relax and get inspired and learn that really their life is the blank canvas, and that they are the artists, and that when they go out in the world, they can apply those same principles of design to the art that is their life.
Well, I love that. Being a highly creative person, I've never considered myself having any ability with respect to art and painting, and I know that I, along with everybody else, can really benefit from these concepts and your teachings. So thank you.
Thank you.